They say love conquers all, that if you find the right person, everything else just falls into place. I believe that. I got married, had kids, built a home. I thought, this is it. This is what I've been missing. This will heal me. But you can't heal a wound you've never cleaned, and you can't fix what you won't face. I brought all of my brokenness into that marriage. All my unresolved trauma, all my addictions, all my anger, all the wounds from losing my best friend. Wounds I spent years running from, and I expected love to be enough. It wasn't. On paper, my life looked incredible. I had a wife, 2 beautiful kids, a house, actually 2. I owned a rental property in Baton Rouge. I was making great money, really good money. At 23 years old, I was managing the largest auto glass shop in Louisiana. 23, managing the biggest shop in the state, and it wasn't luck. I'd been working in glass for over 10 years at this point. I started when I was 13, working side by side with my best friend, my dad. I learned every part of the trade: windshield, side glasses, mobile work, shop work. By 18, I was the lead technician for luxury and high-end vehicles at Safelite. Not just installs, customer service, leadership, responsibility. By 23, I had more real-world experience than people twice my age. And the company recognized that. They trusted me with their largest shop, their most demanding jobs, their highest level of responsibility. From the outside looking in, nothing looked broken, but there was a cost no one saw. The shop was in Metairie, an hour and a half from my home. I'd leave at 5:30, 6 if I was lucky, and I wouldn't make it home until 7, sometimes 8. 3 hours every single day, just driving. 3 hours I wasn't with my kids, 3 hours I wasn't with my wife, 3 hours where I was simply gone. I'd kiss my kids goodbye while they were still asleep, and by the time I got home, they were already in bed. I was providing, succeeding. I was running the largest shop in the state, making more money than most people my age could ever dream of. But I was absent. Not because I didn't care, not because I chose to be. I was absent because I was trying to build something for them. I was trying to give them what I never had. I was trying to be the provider my dad was. And the strain, it was real. My wife was carrying it alone. 2 kids, the house, the days, the nights. And I kept telling myself, as long as I'm working, as long as I'm providing, this is what love looks like. I was wrong. Because underneath the success, the money, the titles, I was still a broken kid who never dealt with losing his best friend, who still carried the grief I didn't understand, still running from the pain I didn't know how to face. The addictions didn't stop. I just got quieter about them. A drink, a pill, anything to take the edge off, anything to survive the exhaustion, anything to shut down the voice that kept saying, "You're failing. You're not enough. You're abandoning them, just like you felt abandoned." And I wanted to be a good husband. I wanted to be a good father. I mean that. But I was fighting a battle inside myself that I didn't know how to win. Because I never learned to hate what was killing me. I wasn't healing it. I was just managing it, hiding it, pretending I had control. I was running the largest auto glass shop in Louisiana, but couldn't even run my own life. And she could see it, my wife. She saw past the success, past the titles, past the provider. She saw the truth. That underneath all of it, I was still that 13-year-old kid who'd never learned how to grieve. Looking back now, I see the warfare clearly. The same spirit that destroyed my parents' marriage was setting up camp in mine. The enemy doesn't get creative, he just uses what worked before. My dad was a provider. He worked hard, built a business, made a living. But the marriage still fell apart. And here I was, providing, working, building success, and my marriage was falling apart. Same pattern, different generation, 20 years later. There's something I need to explain, not to accuse, not to attack, but to tell the truth. Because what happened later didn't come out of nowhere. This wasn't sudden. It was pattern, from the beginning. There was a cycle I didn't understand at the time. She would position herself as the victim, and I would become the problem. Conflict would happen, and suddenly I was the danger. The unstable one. The one who needed consequences. Before we were even married, I was falsely accused, arrested. And while I was dealing with the fallout, she was living in my house. I told myself it was just a misunderstanding, that love meant grace, that forgiveness would fix it. But what I didn't realize then was that this wasn't conflict. It was leverage. A pattern of control, victimhood used as a weapon, crisis used to reposition power. And every time I absorbed it, minimized it, explained it away, because I didn't want to believe someone I loved could be capable of something so calculated. I should have seen it. So when things seemed calm, when the tension eased, when we talked about moving forward, I thought we were finally on solid ground. And that's when we planned Disney, a trip we saved for years. Before we left for Disney, we made an extra mortgage payment. I remember thinking, we're doing this right. We're getting ahead. We're being responsible. I was managing the largest auto glass shop in Louisiana, making great money. We owned a house. We had rental property. On paper, we were solid, or so I thought. We took the kids to Disney World. It was supposed to be the perfect family trip. Magic Kingdom, fireworks, making memories. And for a few days it was. I laughed, we laughed. And for a few days it was. We laughed, we held hands. The kids were happy. And I let myself believe maybe we're okay. We're ahead financially. This trip's going great. Maybe this is the turning point. But while we were smiling for pictures, she wasn't just thinking about leaving. She was executing a plan. And that extra payment we made, that wasn't us getting ahead. That was just more money for her to take. We drove home from Disney. I was already thinking about the next trip, already hopeful. Then I opened the door. Everything was gone. Furniture, clothes, pictures. The house I left was full. The house I came back to was hollow. We'd taken a rental for the trip, picked the dogs up from her parents' place. I loaded them into the car while she drove hers. I thought we were heading home. Instead, I walked into an empty house, just me and the dog she insisted we get. My first thought was we'd been robbed. I kept calling, leaving messages. Hey, call me back when you get this. I think we've been robbed. No answer. Then I checked the bank accounts, empty. Not just the house, the accounts. Every one of them. She didn't just leave, she dismantled everything on her way out. Every dollar, every account, gone. And then the notice came from the bank. Remember those mortgage payments she said she'd been making for the last 3 months? She never made one of them. The money was gone every month. Moved somewhere else while I was driving 3 hours a day, working 13-hour shifts, running the largest shop in the state, providing for my family. The money was being taken, stolen. And the extra payment? The one I thought was responsible, the one I thought meant we were ahead, that was just more money to disappear. I thought we were 1 month ahead. In reality, we were 3 months behind. And here's why that mattered. Without money, I couldn't fight for custody. I couldn't hire an attorney. I couldn't afford supervised visits. I couldn't keep the house. She didn't just leave. She removed every tool I had to fight back. No money, no home, no leverage. And the enemy knows this. A broke man can't fight for his children. I was destroying myself working. 3 hours on the road every day, 13-hour shifts, managing a massive operation, making real good money. And in one calculated move, it was all gone. This wasn't impulse. This wasn't emotion. This wasn't I'm unhappy. This was warfare, calculated, strategic, designed to cripple me, and it worked. My mom left my dad, affair, divorce, a fractured family. My wife left me, affair, divorce. But this time, the enemy escalated. He didn't just break the family. He took away my ability to rebuild. Accounts drained, payments stolen, foreclosure looming, no money to fight for custody. Same spirit, same tactic, different generation. Only this time, total financial destruction. My dad lost his family. I lost my family and my financial foundation. Because the enemy knew. I watched my dad survive divorce. I saw him rebuild his life. The enemy knew I could survive losing my wife. But could I survive losing my wife, my kids, my money, my home, and my ability to fight back? That was the trap. She didn't file for divorce right away, and foolishly I held on to hopes. For 3 months we talked. We went to counseling. She said she wanted to work on things, and I believed her. I was desperate, and I would have done anything to save my family. I knew what divorce does to kids. I lived it, and I couldn't bring myself to put my children through that. So I showed up. I tried. I poured everything I had into fixing us. But during those same 3 months, while I was fighting to save us, she was still moving money, still hiding assets, still planning. The counseling wasn't reconciliation. It was a distraction, a way to keep me hopeful while she finalized her exit. Every session I attended, every promise I made, every change I tried to live out, she was already gone, already building a new life, already making sure I couldn't follow. And the whole time, she was with someone else. 3 months of counseling, 3 months of hope, 3 months of believing our family had a chance, and she was with him the entire time. Same weapon, same playbook, different generation. My mom's affair, my wife's affair. The enemy doesn't invent new strategies. He just repeats what worked. And that betrayal didn't just break my heart. It broke something far deeper. It broke my belief that I could ever be enough for anyone. And then came the wound that almost ended me. I lost custody of my children. And you need to understand everything else I've told you. The divorce, the betrayal, the stolen money, the foreclosure, the arrests, the addiction, all of it was painful. But this shattered my soul. Not seeing them, not tucking them in, not protecting them from the same pain I grew up with. Not being their father. I was trying, filing paperwork, showing up for visitations, doing everything I could to fight for custody. But I was fighting a losing battle. Every door closed, every petition denied, every step forward pushed me 2 steps back. The system didn't care that I ran a massive operation. Didn't care that I made good money. Didn't care that I'd been working since I was 13. All they saw was an addict. And they weren't wrong. I could manage a multi-million-dollar operation, but I couldn't manage my own addiction. I could lead a team, but I couldn't lead myself out of bondage. Success doesn't heal wounds. It just gives you a better place to hide them. And then the enemy whispered the lie he'd been building my whole life. You abandoned them, just like you thought your dad abandoned you. The cycle's complete. You are your father, and your kids will grow up broken just like you. This is your legacy: abandonment, pain, brokenness. You failed them. You're poison, and I believed it. The absence of my children left me beyond empty. There's no words for that. I lost my mind. Not metaphorically, literally. I felt like I was going insane because I'd believed I'd abandoned them. Even though I was trying, fighting, doing everything I knew how to do. The system said I was unfit, and maybe I was, but they were my kids, and I couldn't hold them, protect them, tell them I loved them. And that pain became fuel for my complete unraveling. I drank to forget their faces, used to numb the ache of their absence. I did whatever it took to not feel the weight of being separated from the only thing that made me want to live. I was arrested more than once, DUI, running from the cops, reckless choices that should have killed me. And honestly, part of me didn't care if they did, because at least then the pain would stop. I felt like I destroyed everything I touched, like I was poison. Like everyone would just be better off if I'd just disappeared. And the enemy had me right where he wanted me, broken, hopeless, convinced I was beyond saving, convinced the pattern would never break, convinced I was destined to repeat my father's story. And for a while, I was ready to let him win. And then, right in the midst of my darkest moment, a phone rang. I'd been released on bail with instructions to report to a rehab facility in Mississippi. A 1-year program. And honestly, it just didn't feel right to me. But I said yes anyways. It was better than being in jail, and it would ease my mom's heart. She had been praying for this moment, for me to finally accept help, and I wasn't going to let her down. But when I arrived, I tested positive for COVID. I couldn't enter the facility, and they told me I had to wait a week. Except a week later, the facility shut down completely due to COVID outbreak. Everyone was sent home. My mom panicked. What are you going to do? Where will you go? You can't go back to jail. God already knew what he was doing, because during that week, a friend reached out, someone from Men's Discovery. He asked how I was doing, then said, "There's an opening at the Fountain of Life in Albany, Louisiana. There's a bed with your name on it if you want it." The Fountain of Life. Even the name was prophetic, because I wasn't going to get sober. I was going to find life. I didn't know it yet, but I was stepping into something the enemy never saw coming. The enemy thought losing custody was checkmate. He thought financial destruction plus losing my children would finish me. That I'd die by my own hand, rot in prison, disappear into another statistic of generational dysfunction. But Yahuwah was already redirecting me to the Fountain of Life. And there, in a place I never planned going, through circumstances I could have never orchestrated, he was preparing to teach me what the enemy never wanted me to learn. The enemy thought custody loss was checkmate, but Yahuwah was positioning for resurrection. Step 8 of the enemy's plan: kill him or silence him. Yahuwah's response: the Fountain of Life.